What's up, everybody? Jimmy Falukas reporting once again with my good friends Frank and Mike. Fellas, how are you?
Yo, excellent.
All right. SummerSlam has passed us by, and we had a few big things happen that night, I believe, fellas. First and foremost, we have a new WWE Heavyweight Champion of the World, and his name is Brock Lesnar. Can you say the words beatdown?
Sure.
I mean, when's the last time that a top guy got the shit kicked out of him like that before? Any of you guys recall that?
No.
How about you, Frank?
Well, for a champion, of course, we've had quick matches. You know, we've had Diesel beating Bob Backlund in 9 seconds. Daniel Bryan lost in 18 seconds, but not a prolonged one-sided beating like that. No, I can't remember. No.
I'll tell you something. Seeing what I saw at SummerSlam makes me actually pretty damn happy that Daniel Bryan got injured, because otherwise that may have been him.
Yeah, maybe.
Well,
that was the plan. That was the plan all along.
Thank God thank God a monkey wrench got thrown into that. Brock Lesnar is the WWE champion. He destroyed John Cena. It was the most logical thing to happen. I mean, you know, for Brock Lesnar to win. They obviously were not going to have Brock Lesnar lose, since, you know, the match before that he did the unthinkable by ending the streak. So, you know, it was the most logical thing to happen. I didn't expect it to be such a one-sided match, but you know.
Well, I think in a way maybe John Cena kind of paid respects to the Undertaker in that fashion. You know, I take it that meeting.
My friend Christian seemed to think the same thing. You know, John Cena didn't.
You understand? Like John Cena just he's nothing to fight. The guy is an absolute animal, but you can't be stopped. So.
Well,
he beat the street. He made John Cena look like, you know?
No, obviously. You know, Undertaker put up a much better fight against Brock Lesnar than Cena did, and Taker's 49 years old.
I mean, the match looks like a vicious Barry Holmes match. You know what I mean?
That it did.
That was pretty much a squash match. Yeah, it was 100% squash match.
But you want to know something?
One of these guys, you know?
You know how I took that? That was the WWE apologizing to us for so many years of shoving him down our throats.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing. Frank and I said this earlier. If that was Daniel Bryan in his position, the crowd would not have been cheering that beating.
No, probably not.
Well, it just goes to show you what the crowd thinks of John Cena, but that's neither here nor there.
But are they apologizing and going to put the belt on him next month in Night of Champions?
I don't think so.
Again?
I don't think Brock Lesnar's losing the title until WrestleMania, in my opinion. I don't think he's losing the title anytime soon.
Okay, but that's understandable, but you're also going to have, like, a lot of pay-per-views between WrestleMania, so who's he going to defend the belt against?
Well, there's multiple choices that you can... There's multiple choices that you could use with Brock Lesnar. But anyways... We also had Frank. We also had probably the show stealer, which was Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins in the Lumberjack match, which was 100% better than I thought it would be, because I thought the Lumberjack match would limit them. But I'll tell you what, the match was pretty damn good. Ambrose and Rollins, they delivered.
And it's a constant with those two guys. Every time those two guys are involved in a match, you hear the crowd chanting, "This is wrestling."
Well,
those guys are 100% home.
Oh,
you got to be the most open guys going home.
So there's also a reason for that. That's because the two guys are, you know, they entertain the crowd, which is at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And
I didn't understand the concept first. Like, I didn't really think about the whole Lumberjack thing. I just didn't think it made sense, and then I realized that this feud's probably going to end like in a Hell in a Cell or something, right?
Well, you know, I think a lot of our viewers here on the show would actually like to see them end the match in a Hell in a Cell.
Because I feel like, okay, they did the Lumberjack match, and that Lumberjacks can't contain them. And then they're going to do like something else, and that can't be contained. And you can't be a clear winner, and blah, blah, blah. Now you stick him in the Hell in a Cell, and you got to have a winner now.
Well, I got a feeling Seth Rollins is going to be busy at Night of Champions with Roman Reigns. That's kind of how it looks right now. But yeah, I think that Ambrose and Rollins, their feud is hot enough to where they could put it in Hell in a Cell. It shouldn't. The Hell in a Cell to me should be utilized for hot feuds, not just because it's October. Hey, it's time to bring the cell down. We also had Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton, which the match was not bad, but it wasn't all that great either.
I think Randy Orton carried that match, and it exposed Roman Reigns a little bit. I agree, actually. Believe it or not.
No,
I thought it was a good match. I think I don't know. I kind of think Randy Orton kind of stepped in the game up a little more recently. I feel like.
well, you want to know something? Randy Orton, I've always said, is a very talented competitor. I just think that he's like his counterpart, John Cena, just very stale. Little tweaks here and there can help. Undertaker's proof of that. If you tweak your character here and there, that's the key to longevity.
Yeah, I think slowly going back to like the real I guess devious Randy Orton. Remember like chopping guys in the head and stuff like that. The legend killer. But yeah, like a legend killer. Yeah, I think like slowly going more.
We also
and being like the cowards, maybe.
Yeah, Orton is better. Orton was way better off as a tweener because his match. First of all, the fans were more interested in his matches. I think that the kind of heel he's been playing as Triple H's lackey is kind of boring because we've seen Randy do that many times before, and that's kind of it's kind of played out. We also had Brie Bella versus Stephanie, which is the longest Divas match in years. The heel turn with Nikki, we kind of knew it was going to happen. But, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I'd like to put a lid on that part with this. I have no desire to see the Bellas fight each other. I have no desire to see it. Not because I don't... I just think it's a waste of time. They both suck at acting. And, honestly, I just think that the whole angle is stupid. It was better off when it was just Stephanie against Brie.
Yeah, well, it's all tied into the Total Divas show that's going to come up in a couple of weeks. That's what that's all about.
Which are any of the three of us going to be watching that show? I doubt it. Unless...
No, but it's the ratings show.
No, I guess so.
It gets a million views a week, you know?
What about you, Mike? What did you think of it?
Well, I think the fellas in general are terrible. I was kind of surprised when Nikki was like cutting the promo afterward, you know, like Raw and stuff like that. With a couple of promos that she cut or whatever, and not that bad coming from her. She moves around a little bit too much, and she's like really chaotic. But Brie Bella was absolutely terrible. I think that Stephanie doesn't get enough credit. I think she did pretty good. You know, she's like the one of the bosses, and after 10 years, she's a mother. She came back, and she, you know, Stephanie's the man. I wish they would put the Divas belt back on her. I'm upset. Yeah, she's got good promos, you know. I mean, even if you're not interested in the angle, she cuts good promos, you know. She's just as important as an even villain as like Vince has been through as like a villain.
I think that the biggest negative for Stephanie is that they're now, thanks to what happened at SummerSlam, there really are no able divas that are actually going to be able to get her, you know, to give her an opportunity for her to get hers, you know, because eventually the heel has to be taken down. I don't see anyone, you know, that's going to come around and beat the crap out of Stephanie and beat her up. But, you know, hey, I guess it is what it is. Also, we had, and this will put a lid on SummerSlam, and this will also tie into something that I'd like to get off my chest. We had Chris Jericho versus Bray Wyatt, which was a much better match, you know, than their last one. And most part, because the right guy won. Jericho put the guy over like $1 million. He sold that the guy creeped him out. He sold that Bray got into his head. And in no other sense of the word, he did his job. What do you guys have to say about that match before I go off on my tangent? Because I'm warning you, I need to get this off my chest.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of just looking forward to the opinion, believe it or not. I'll give you my opinion if you want.
Excuse me?
No, I'm kind of looking forward to your
All right, here we go. How about you, Frank? You have anything to say about the match?
Well, I want to ask you guys, did you think the match was really, really good? Average?
I enjoyed it.
But was it really, really good?
It wasn't the greatest match in the world, but for what it was, I enjoyed it.
At this point, I think I don't even, if I don't want to, like, when I said this thing out of my head is, I'm just so happy that Bray Wyatt won.
Yeah, but look what they followed up with it. Not even 2 weeks later, which
of course, but that's still good.
Which is now okay. Listen, I love the fact that we do this show, but now I have to. I got to say this. All right, and I just need like 3 or 4 minutes to get this out. Bray Wyatt is one of the most talented guys WWE has right now. He deserves better. I mean, not even 6 months ago, the guy was beaten the most over guy in the company at the Royal Rumble. The very next month, he, along with his 2 followers, were in one of the best matches 2014 has produced, which was the Wyatts versus The Shield at Extreme Rules. In an amazing match. And Bray Wyatt scored the winning fall on the guy who's going to end up being the face of the company in a few years, Roman Reigns. And then Bray Wyatt, unfortunately, has to walk into the friggin' glass ceiling known as John Cena, and that was all she wrote. Now, I want to understand, does John Cena lose merchandise sales by losing? Because that seems to be the thought process here. Does The Undertaker lose his value as a legend because he lost the streak? No. Did Stone Cold Steve Austin lose value in his character by losing the feud to the guy that had him run over, which was Triple H? Did The Rock lose his momentum as a legend when Goldberg beat the shit out of him in a squash match, pretty much? No. Wait.
Can I ask you a question?
1 second, first. Wait. Let me finish. I don't understand why WWE would have Chris Jericho come in, fix the mistake that they made with Bray Wyatt by making him irrelevant because he couldn't get through the John Cena ceiling. Jericho puts this guy over properly. And what do they do 2 weeks later? They have John Cena go in there because he's got to look strong after losing in a squash match to Brock Lesnar. They have him literally destroy this kid. Why in the hell did they not have John Cena go in there and do that to Kane? Or do it to Heath Slater? Someone that isn't going to be hurt by something like that. Bray Wyatt needs all that he can get his hands on because of his feud with John Cena. He lost a shitload of momentum from the John Cena feud. Now, you guys may get mad at me for this, but I really could care less right now. I could care less how many Make-A-Wishes John Cena does. I really don't care. It doesn't make him, to me, it doesn't make him a great wrestler. Does it make him a good person? Yeah, sure. I'm sure Johnny Boy's a humanitarian and a credit to the human race, but at the end of the day, as a professional wrestler, the guy is not as good as everyone claims that he is. And everyone likes to throw, he sells the most merchandise. Yeah, well, when you have as many pieces of merchandise as he has, of course you're going to sell the most. Give him the same amount of merchandise that you give Damian Sandow. See if he's still the top merchandise seller. I don't think so. And I'm sick and tired of guys like Bray Wyatt, who are way more talented than John Cena in every conceivable way, in the ring and on the mic, have to be sacrificed to make this guy look good. There was no reason for it. John Cena single-handedly made the Wyatt family look like a joke. Why should I give a damn what the Wyatts do from this point forward? Because I don't. And I love Bray Wyatt. I think he's a great wrestler. I think he's a great character. They ruined him. with John Cena. They ruined him. And then John Cena has the balls to go on Steve Austin's podcast and say, the WWE doesn't make enough opponents for me to go in there against. No, John, because you're too busy doing everything your boss tells you to do when you're in the position where you could say, boss, I shouldn't be winning this match. This kid's the future. Let's make the future so that way I have a business to leave something behind too. Why in the hell would you sacrifice Bray Wyatt for John Cena? What logic is that? I'm done with that.
Who's going to go first, Mike or me?
I don't care. One of yous go.
Yeah, Mike, go.
Alright, number one, you're comparing, like, Bray Wyatt as like Stone Cold and The Rock. In terms of, like, their momentum, like, when they lost and certain things, and there's no way...
I'm just giving you an example of how losing... I was actually comparing them to John Cena. I wasn't comparing them to Bray Wyatt. I was saying, when those guys lost matches, it didn't hurt them. So John Cena losing a feud to Bray Wyatt wouldn't have hurt him. That's the point I'm trying to make. That's the point I'm trying to make.
And the other point is that when it comes down to it, right? Vince McMahon
is an idiot.
So that he's an idiot or not, he looks at the business as an entertainment company, not as a wrestling company. He's always going to look at it, right? And for some reason, John Cena, I guess, just always, I guess with him, he's always trying to go that one guy he always like turns to, a certain spot. And I guess
he's been the most protected.
I have no idea why they said Bray Wyatt and John Cena like that. Like, I don't know why that makes no sense to me at all. But I guess they're just down on the Wyatt. Alright. And to a certain point, I do see the Wyatt family does kind of hit a ceiling. What can you really do? I mean,
Vince McMahon has got to stop sucking on the teat of John Cena.
But the gimmick itself, what can you do? He's a coach. He needs to bring in people, no? He needs to bring in more.
I thought he was fine. Before he got into the whole John Cena feud, I was looking forward to seeing the great things he would do down the line. There are plenty of things you could do with that character. Give me a week. Give me a week, and I could book 6.
But even his promos don't make any sense, though.
Ultimate Warrior made absolutely no sense in his promos.
That was 1992, though. Come on.
Okay, can I give my 2 cents on this?
Sure, Frank. Go ahead.
Sorry, so let's just take the WrestleMania match. Now, follow the directions of John Cena and Bray Wyatt. What happens to John Cena after WrestleMania?
Honestly?
What happened to him? What did he do? He won the belt, right?
Yeah, pretty much. He ended up winning the title.
So, so that means they already had a plan that Cena was going to win the belt after WrestleMania. So that might be their logic, that Cena needs to look strong because he's going to win the belt. And obviously they didn't have anything big planned for Bray Wyatt, so I guess that's why he lost.
But what's the point? What's the point of sacrificing your future for the present that has failed his job?
Right, but their immediate plans were that John Cena was going to win. And I guess you can look at it from Bray Wyatt's perspective. He's in there against the top guy in the last 10 years in the WrestleMania match, so that gives him good exposure, if you want to look at it that way, you know?
I don't look at it that way because John Cena wasn't utilized properly. Let's be very honest. Bray Wyatt got a win over Chris Jericho. Who would you rather beat in a one-on-one match at WrestleMania, Chris Jericho or John Cena? What win?
I understand, but I'm saying they had their booking already planned months ahead, so they knew they were
didn't count on Daniel Bryan getting injured. So I don't think that that's the case. I really don't think.
See, that's why they have to keep John Cena strong, because he's always the insurance policy. You understand? And leading up to WrestleMania, John Cena was starting to fade a little bit.
Well,
so
I guess we all got too excited too fast.
He was leading up to it. He was closing out Raw. The Shield was closing out Raw almost every Monday. He hadn't had the belt in a while. He was starting to.
It was a welcome change.
He was starting to, and they need to keep him strong. They can't make John Cena slip into the upper mid card.
I don't understand why. If his fans are so loyal and they're so behind him, they could support him in the mid card.
But the WWE needs him to be a top guy. And again, we're gonna talk about this, and this is gonna segue. How many guys are ready to step up? He's that number one guy, and then we're gonna say, well, they don't push these guys. They hold them down. But again, let's go back to Daniel Bryan. He broke the chains of the corporate chains, and he broke through. So what are these guys?
You want to know why that happened? You want to know why Daniel Bryan got monstrously over after SummerSlam? I'll explain to you why. And a lot of guys are not going to like me saying this. The WWE had no choice but to make Daniel Bryan beat John Cena. If John Cena wasn't going to have surgery after SummerSlam, there's no way Daniel Bryan would have won that match. But do you understand what happened? Daniel Bryan beat John Cena clean. Clean. And he was already popular. But after that victory, his popularity went through the roof.
But there you have it. The fans absolutely demanded that Daniel Bryan be in the top spot.
And when was the last time they did that for anyone? I believe.
Right, that's my point. Why, if Roman Reigns is such a hot commodity, and he's going to be the future, and he's got gold written on him, why aren't the fans, ridiculously supporting him and cheering him when he comes out? Why aren't they chanting Roman throughout the whole match and throughout the whole show?
Because he's not.
The S movement was a storyline.
What's that?
The S movement was a storyline. That's why the fans, they played into the fall. They made the fans be interactive with the whole Yes movement storyline.
Right. Okay, but the Daniel Bryan storyline supposedly peaked at SummerSlam when he beat John Cena, and yet after he got they did the swerve on him, it made him even more popular.
Yeah, no, I know.
And I don't think that was done on purpose. I don't think
that wasn't intentional. That was supposed to, put us on stage, Daniel Bryan towards the end of the year, and then bring in Batista. But the fans wouldn't allow it, and that's what I'm saying about Bray Wyatt. Do you have people chanting, lighting up the cell phones throughout the whole show?
No, because
or do you have people chanting Roman throughout the whole show? No.
The key factor. I think too. The key factor was that he beat John Cena. Beating John Cena is the key to everlasting life in pro wrestling today for any aspiring top talent. But the problem is, when John Cena is supposed to lose, they don't make him. They don't make him. SummerSlam's an exception. They just had Brock break the streak. He's going to lose to John Cena? I don't think so. Like, you want to know what I think happens at Night of Champions? I think that the referee's going to stop the match because Brock kicks the shit out of him too much. It'll be a more competitive match because, no, they can't make John Cena look too weak. The merchandise sales will go down. Damn it.
So there's going to be a stoppage, you're thinking?
Well,
Probably.
here's a little bit of this news I read the other day. Paul Heyman was on the Steve Austin podcast, and they were talking about how John Cena never got a chance to go to that dark place he talked about. Remember, he said he was going to go to that dark place?
I think he might talk to you.
And that's still hinting at, maybe he goes to that dark place now, because if you heard on Raw, he said he's not going to United Champions to beat Brock Lesnar, he's going there to beat his ass. So is that a little clue? I don't know.
John Cena's never going to turn heel. I am convinced it ain't ever going to happen.
Not heel, but he's going to, maybe we see, if he's talking about this dark place, maybe he goes in and he pulls out brass knuckles, or who knows, maybe he starts doing breaking a couple rules.
I laugh at that because the WWE is too concerned about being politically correct. They will never allow their top hero, John Cena, to do anything dastardly. The children may end up being scarred for life. And I'm saying that, and I say that sarcastically, because if the kids could live through Hulk Hogan, the greatest good guy that ever lived, if they could live with him spitting at them on the camera, they could live with John Cena turning heel. I mean, really. It's so retarded how they protect.
Well, even if he will, it's only for one match. He's only doing it against Brock Lesnar, who's supposed to be, top heel. He beat the Undertaker. Everybody hates him supposedly to that, and he's like a big bully.
What do you expect, Frank? The Undertaker's the biggest legend of them all. Of course.
I know, but I'm talking as WWE might think. They could justify John Cena breaking a couple rules because Brock Lesnar is like a bully. He's like a bully. He traps John Cena. He showed no mercy. So for one match, they could do that.
Well, I really don't think that they'll do it, and we're going to end that segment with this, and Frank, Mike, and I will be back with our next segment. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves.